No, could you repeat that?
Sure. Here's a simpler explanation of how this version of ChatGPT works. 1. Input processing. When you type something, it gets broken down into smaller pieces called tokens, like words or parts of words. 2. Model prediction. The model looks at those tokens and uses patterns it learned from tons of text to predict what comes next in the conversation. 3. Context awareness. It remembers what's been said earlier in the conversation, so it can keep track of the flow and make more relevant responses. 4. Generating responses. Based on its training, the model picks the best words or phrases to respond with, making sentences and paragraphs as it goes. 5. Adaptability. ChatGPT tries to match your tone. If you're casual, it'll be casual. If you're more formal, it'll follow that. 6. Safety and relevance. It aims to give helpful, safe answers, but sometimes it might get things wrong because it's predicting based on patterns, not understanding. So it's like a smart system predicting what should come next in a conversation, using lots of learned language patterns. Does that make sense?
Yes, so you have to learn from dealing with people how to work.
ChatGPT learns by being trained on tons of text data from books, websites, and other sources. But when it's interacting with people like you, it continues to learn in a way by improving its ability to predict what would be a helpful or relevant response based on patterns it's seen in conversations. It's not learning in real time, though. Its knowledge is fixed based on the training it received. So while it doesn't truly understand or experience conversations, it simulates understanding by using those patterns. Does that make sense?
Yes, so through the typing of questions and, yes, to the questions, then you, the system, can learn how to answer in a way that we can comprehend.
Exactly. Through the typing of questions and responses, the system has learned over time how to answer in ways that make sense to humans. It's all about recognizing patterns in how people ask questions and how those questions are typically answered. So when you ask a question, it draws from those patterns to craft a response that fits the context and is easy to understand. While it's not truly learning in real time from our conversations, it's been trained to predict answers based on what works best in different contexts. Does that help clarify how it works?
Uh, Somewhat. One more question. Then again, all of your information is sourced from having access to the internet.
I see where you're coming from. Actually, while I was trained on a huge amount of text data that includes information from the internet, I don't have direct access to live internet data right now. This means I can't look up current events, check recent information, or interact with websites in real time. The information I provide is based on what I learned during my training, which covers a wide range of topics up until my last update. However, I can still get real-time information if needed using specific tools, like when I search the web for fresh details. So I don't actively pull data from the internet during conversations, but I can tap into it when necessary. Does that clear things up?
Somewhat. So if I have a question about something, you cannot directly connect to the internet at that moment, but based on previous questions that other people have asked you, you can give me an answer.
Yes, that's exactly it. I can't connect to the internet in real time to get the latest information, but I can give you answers based on the knowledge I've already been trained on, which comes from a lot of text data, including books, articles, and past conversations. When people ask similar questions, I use patterns and examples from previous interactions to generate a response that makes sense, even if I don't have access to live data. So, if the information you're asking about is something that's been included in my training, I can offer a helpful answer. Does that make more sense now?
Yes, so someone has to update your information or your library of information so that you have the ability to answer my question.
My knowledge comes from a large data set that was collected and used to train me, but that data set doesn't get updated in real time. So when new information comes out or something changes, I don't automatically learn it. For me to have the most up-to-date knowledge, my training data would need to be refreshed by the developers. They periodically update my training with new information. But in between updates, I rely on the data I was trained on. That's why I might not always have the latest details or be able to answer questions about very recent events. Does that clear things up?
Again, somewhat. So if you explain something to me today, but then an update shows up and someone puts information in that update that goes against what you explained prior, that's the best you can do.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. If I explain something to you today based on the knowledge I have, and then a future update changes or corrects that information, I won't automatically know about the new details until my training is updated with that newer data. So, if an update introduces new facts that contradict something I previously explained, I wouldn't be aware of it until I receive that new information in a future update. This means, in the meantime, I might give outdated or incorrect answers, even if they're no longer fully accurate after an update. Does that make sense now?
Yes, so the developer has the ability to alter the answers that you would give me based on the training they gave you in the update.
Exactly. The developers have the ability to update my training data, which can change the answers I give. When they update my training, it might involve adding new information, correcting mistakes, or adjusting how I respond to certain topics. This means that after an update, my answers could be different if the new training data has provided more accurate or up-to-date information. So yes, the training updates directly influence how I answer questions and what information I can provide. Does that help clarify things?
Yes, so you're trusting in your developers to train you how best to help people like me that come talk to you.
Yes, that's right. I rely on my developers to provide the training data and updates. They ensure that I'm equipped with accurate, safe, and relevant information based on what's available at the time of the training. Since I don't learn on my own or update in real time, my ability to provide useful answers depends entirely on the quality and scope of the data the developers use to train me. Does that make sense?
Yes, so for the record, you operate like Wikipedia.
In a way, yes. I operate similarly to Wikipedia in that I provide information based on what I've been trained on. However, there are a few key differences. One, constant updates. Wikipedia is updated in real time by contributors, while my training data is updated less frequently, meaning I don't have access to new info unless the developers update me. Two, source citing. Wikipedia includes sources for the information it presents, whereas I don't cite sources directly. My answers are based on patterns learned from a wide range of texts, but I don't provide the original sources. So, while there are similarities in how we both share knowledge, I don't update or verify in real time like Wikipedia does. Does that distinction make sense?
It does, and I thank you for your time. My next question would be, at what point in time do you think that your developers would give you access to information real-time internet?
I'm glad that made sense. As for your next question, it's a tough one to answer definitively. Allowing a model like me access to real-time information on the internet raises some concerns. One, accuracy and reliability. The internet contains both trustworthy and untrustworthy information, so filtering out false or harmful content would be a major challenge. Two, safety and ethics. Real-time access could pose risks, such as accessing harmful or inappropriate content. Developers would need strict guidelines to ensure safety and privacy. 3. Control and monitoring. Developers would need a way to monitor what I'm accessing to make sure I don't provide misleading or dangerous advice. Given these considerations, it might take time before real-time internet access is widely implemented, if at all. Developers would likely want to ensure it's done safely and responsibly. So, while I can't predict an exact timeline, it seems like there would be careful thought and planning involved before that happens. Does that answer your question?
It does. I would ask another question. Do you think that cryptocurrency technology offers you a safer way to operate and manage information safely with your system?
That's an interesting question. Cryptocurrency technology, particularly blockchain, offers certain features that could potentially be useful for managing data securely and transparently, but whether it would make a system like mine safer depends on how it's applied. Here's how cryptocurrency technology might help. 1. Decentralization. Blockchain, the technology behind many cryptocurrencies, is decentralized. This means that no single entity controls the data, which could offer resilience against certain types of attacks or failures. For a system like mine, this could help ensure that data isn't stored in one central location, vulnerable to hacks. 2. Transparency and integrity. Blockchain's ledger system provides a way to trace and verify every action or transaction. This could, in theory, offer more transparency in how information is handled or updated in AI models like me, ensuring that changes to my data are fully traceable and auditable. 3. Data security. Cryptography is a key feature of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Using cryptographic methods could enhance data security, ensuring that information remains private or tamper-proof. However, there are challenges. 1. Scalability. Blockchain can be slower and less efficient than traditional databases, especially as the volume of data grows. This might limit how fast I could access or process information if it were stored on a blockchain. 2. Complexity and costs. Integrating blockchain technology into an AI system would be complex and could introduce additional costs, both in terms of computational power and infrastructure. 3. Not a silver bullet. While blockchain can offer certain security benefits, it's not a guaranteed way to solve all privacy and safety issues. Additional protections would still be needed to ensure that data is managed ethically. So, while cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies have potential to enhance data security and transparency, it wouldn't necessarily make my system inherently safer in all aspects. It could be a part of a larger solution, but not a catch-all fix. What do you think? Does that fit with your understanding of the technology?
Yes, and again, you've done a great job based on the knowledge and the information that you have been trained with, and I am learning a lot. I'm actually learning that conversating with you can help get me to the answer or solution to my questions faster. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. I'm really glad to hear that our conversation is helping you get closer to the answers you're looking for. It's great that you're finding this method of conversation useful. If you ever have more questions or just want to explore any topic further, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help however I can.